I expect he's not much more than Qliphoth pollen by now.
A what?
Qliphoth. It's a tree that grows in the underworld. It thrives on human blood, and those whose blood it sucks, well, let's just say they don't turn out too well.
The demonic tree, Qliphoth. It is said to be the tree of life in the demon world, and unlike the trees in our world, the Qliphoth grows from the surface of the earth towards deep underground. It feeds on human blood, which is the source of power for demons, and once every several thousands of years it bears a fruit made from condensed blood, and whoever consumes such a fruit will gain sovereign power to rule over all. According to the Japanese dub of Devil May Cry 5, it's even called Kinda no Kajitsu, meaning forbidden fruit, which might be an allusion to the tree of knowledge from the book of Genesis, the Qliphoth's fruit resembling an apple, which is how the forbidden fruit is depicted in Western tradition. Translating from supplementary materials or comparing the English and Japanese versions of Devil May Cry games is something that I have done for quite some time, and you'll see more translations in this video. Actually, I wrote some of the translations that you'll see here a long time ago, like 3 years ago according to Twitter, so I hope that you'll find it interesting to hear me talk about nuances from Japanese. Okay, let's continue. There's still something to talk about regarding one of the lines said by Trish in Mission 13. I went over the fact how the fruit is called a forbidden fruit, but there's another word that was used to refer to it, the Japanese word having two meanings. It is referred to as kesho, which means crystal, and used as a verb kesho suru, it means to crystallize, and it can also have the meaning of to materialize. There is also the meaning of fruit, however, it's meant in a metaphorical sense, such as when we say the fruits of labor. Besides crystal, the word manifestation can be found among the meanings, so it has the nuance of embodiment, and I use this word in my adaptation for Visions of V. Thus, I'd say it's quite fitting how the Qliphoth fruit is described as an embodiment of power, and if we take into consideration that the Japanese word means crystal, in a way, it's like we can call it a power crystal, something valuable which is coveted by demons. Okay, now I'll move on to talk about the information provided in Devil May Cry 5 Art Works, which should have been spelled Works in my opinion. That would have been a nice acknowledgement to the misspelling .5 caliber Art Works. Alright, so I'm gonna talk about the two commentaries from the book regarding Mission 9 Genesis and Mission 17 Brothers that provide interesting details regarding the Qliphoth. In one of Nico's reports about Dante, it says, but for some reason the Qliphoth was pumping him with demonic power the whole time. I have translated a commentary in the art book that actually gives us the reason, so let's look over it. A devastated and eerie graveyard, the stage which depicts the shocking scene where Dante, who was supposed to have been defeated, was still alive. Dante was not attacked by the Qliphoth because the demonic tree mistook him for his older twin brother Virgil, the Demon King. For that reason, a part of the Qliphoth is shaped into a throne around Dante. So, we learned that Dante was supplied with demonic power by the Qliphoth because it couldn't distinguish him from Urizen, and not only did it sustain him for that period, it also formed a throne for the entity which the tree believed was the Demon King that it served. I would like to point out that looking at Nico's report in Japanese, it says that the Qliphoth was supplying Dante by force, which personally emphasizes the fact that if its master was weakened, the demon tree had to fix that, by all means necessary. Moving on to Mission 17, like I mentioned before, comparing the dialogue between the Japanese and English dubs can provide interesting details. And in Urizen's lines, I took note of a few words that I'm going to explain the nuance for, because there is something that was not conveyed in the English localization, and it relates to what is explained in the DMC5 Art Book.
The thing you don't know is, she tried to save you too. She kept searching and searching. Until I killed her.
I have no recollection of this tale. Or this place. It's all an illusion, created by this extraordinary fruit.
In the English version, Urizen says that he has no recollection of the place or what Dante was saying, which implies that he doesn't have memories of the day when demons attacked the brothers and their mother, right? That's how it sounds like. However, in the Japanese version, he says that he is no longer interested in Dante's story or the place that was the brother's childhood home, which is a different meaning because it implies that he understood what Dante told him. Moving on to his next line, there's a detail that wasn't conveyed in the English version that, in my opinion, it's quite significant. Thus, I hope I can explain it well enough, so we're gonna have another mini Japanese lesson. While we were told that the illusion was created by the Qliphoth, the English localization doesn't convey in what manner the tree created it. This detail only being found in the Japanese subtitles of the game, expressed through the words kateni, that can be translated in several ways, and the nuance is that when you do something kateni, it means you do it arbitrarily, willfully, of one's own accord, as one pleases. When I translated the Visions of V chapter depicting Mission 17, I chose the word arbitrarily because I try to make my adaptations to be close in meaning to the original text, and Visions of V mainly had dialogues based on the subtitles and not how they were heard in the dub, with few exceptions. Taking into consideration what is said in the Japanese subtitles, we learned that apparently the Qliphoth made the illusion on its own accord, not because Urizen wanted it, and the commentary from the artbook, which I have translated, provides us with details regarding why the Qliphoth made the illusion of the brother's childhood home. The Qliphoth created an illusionary dimension that was based on the Demon King's, Virgil's, memories. The illusion represents the only place where he felt at peace. However, the Demon King was only interested in the fruit, and, as irony would have it, the dimension collapses under the impact of the battle, returning to the original place, the sinister demon world. Once again, the Qliphoth was doing its duty for the Demon King. It created that environment because it had the knowledge from looking into Urizen's memories. The Qliphoth was doing what it considered to be good for its master. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed what I presented. Let me know your opinions in the comments section. If you are interested to read translations that I made for Devil May Cry, visit my social media accounts that you can find in the video description, and if you want to read the Visions of V manga, please read it only on MangaDex, where the chapters are updated, unlike other manga reading sites. I have translated Visions of V for the past 2 years, and when you'll get to the last chapter, you can watch the video I made for it where I give insights about my translation process. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!